We're recording.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to end the closed meeting and return to the regular session?
I moved to end the closed meeting and return to the regular session.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the closed meeting is now closed. And now we're gonna certify the closed meeting. Do I hear a motion to certify the closed meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all right. Motion
Then I'll
and
need a
second.
roll call vote for that one.
Okay.
So Vice Chair Travis,
Aye.
Director Farrell,
Aye.
Director Husband,
Aye.
Director Johnson.
Aye.
And Director Broughton.
Let's just record that attended.
Yeah, I've got her in there that she wasn't eligible to vote yet.
Our next topic on the agenda is general business, starting with Falling Branch Corporate Park Phase 2, Lot 2 construction.
So, as I have discussed, Phase 2, Lot 2 is currently under construction. We have a $2.8 million contract. And of course, for a better view, this is the Parkway Drive leading out to Lot 2 past the FedEx Distribution Center. And we're extending all utilities down Parkway Drive. So Main Street Builders is our contractor, and they just submitted the third request for payment. They've been working on the road construction, the stormwater pond, stormwater pond is the largest thing that needs to get done first. Mass grading and the water line installation. We will need a change order probably at the next meeting for buried material disposal. They came across about 100 yards of buried tree stumps. Again, it was a farm and farmers do different things, and they just buried the tree stumps. And so we did not anticipate that, but we'll add it to our contract. My suggestion is that we just add a line item like we have for rock. This is how much to dispose of items in the dump. And, we set it out at starting at 20 tons. And that way, it's just if we hit anything else, then it'll be in the contract.
And they'll bill it to us on a per ton haul basis.
Yes. We'll get a copy of all the receipts that they do. So,
Possible to see, I don't really like organic material in a landfill, for them to recycle the tree stumps. I mean, that's the reason they were buried in the first place, was to contribute to soil health,
they are tree stumps.
right? So they could get mulched and used.
Maybe.
I understand your point of view. I don't know that that's feasible.
We can ask. You can ask. We can ask. Yeah. I think the default is to do, easy things that aren't environmentally friendly, so I think it's worth asking.
My preference is just to move them somewhere else on the site and bury them again. But I'm not sure how the town of Christiansburg would like that.
Okay.
And let them continue to decompose over time.
Yes. Add to the soil health.
The problem with that, when they decompose, they leave voids. That's why they object.
So here is our current, let's see if I can make this a little bigger. We've been going back and forth with them discussing weather days. They were able to work on the water line last week, but they were not able to work on grading the pad. So we gave them a half day for the 2 days they couldn't grade. So this month's bill is going to be $374,385.33, and the engineer has certified it. I know this is hard to read. This should be in your packet to pull up, but under work completed this quarter is the water line, sanitary sewer, stormwater pond, and piping, and they hit a nice amount of rocks. We're at 50% on our rock allowance. They hit 1,055 cubic yards, which is not unexpected. There's The lower areas have quite a bit of rock.
Are they done excavating for the water line?
No, sir. We didn't hit any rock there. We've hit rock at the basin in this area. You can see the rock that's out in front that they've moved. But down inside the basin where they have to go to the deepest, for the stormwater pond. So last month, they had the road and they were just starting on the stormwater pond, I guess early August. Early September, they almost have the stormwater, I guess, detention facility complete. And they started grading on the mass grading project on lot 2. And then of course, putting in the water line. So 12-inch water line. Town of Christiansburg will do the interconnect once it's fully complete and test the water line themselves.
They're not done with the water line. They're pretty much done with the excavation for the pond.
Correct.
Those are the deepest items. So I think sound like we're okay with the rock.
I think so. Hopefully we shouldn't, that's why we put it in there, just makes it easier.
Sure.
So, and we haven't heard any complaints from Federal Express, which is good.
They had to do much shooting out there?
Are you talking about blasting?
Yeah.
If you blast near the interstate, the state troopers have to literally stop the traffic. When we did phase 1 stormwater pond for water quality to quantity, they stopped both sides of the interstate, blasted, and then resumed traffic. So it's a general major disruption, and we'll try to keep them from doing anything like that.
They haven't had to yet.
No, we hit a lot. We hit about $93,000 worth of rock on that project back in 2010.
You know, if they haven't run into any massive stuff close to Surrey, they're probably okay with just a hammer.
So any other questions on that? I'll jump into maintenance. So phase 1, stormwater pond, the town of Christiansburg, of course, wants us to keep it clean. And excess trees and shrubs in drainage way and a pond, concrete failure, H&P, you can have the plans on your iPads, has already done the plans and working with purchasing. I'm meeting with Extreme Concrete on Monday to go over what the work needs to be done. They wouldn't necessarily do the entire project. They would act as a general contractor and sub it out. So here's the pond next to Mode. And basically the work to be done, you have the 3-4 bays and the 42-inch pipe that has to be resealed. You can see that where the concrete has failed and been pushed up. So all this will get cleaned up and have a new concrete structure going into the pond. As long as we have been working on it, the town of Christiansburg has been satisfied. Now that we're this far into the weather, we need to get the concrete finished first, and we can actually push it back a little, give them till the end of the year to actually finish the whole project, wait for a heavy frost, and then get in there and work. So in your package, you have the Board of Supervisors resolution for the New River Valley Regional Commission. Angie, would you like to explain this?
Yes. The Regional Commission currently leases their space from what is the name of that building?
Pulaski Innovation.
Thank you, in Fair Lawn. And they have signed a purchase agreement and they're doing due diligence about, Reed can probably talk about this too, about purchasing a building of their own and issuing debt to purchase the building.
American National Bank.
Right.
Where's,
It's It's
Tommy
near the
Laughlin.
tall,
Tommy Laughlin's old bank.
it's near, it's like,
It's near Marketplace in
Hardee's.
Christiansburg, like the
Near the
Hardee's and then the car wash and then the bank, if that makes sense. Like
There's
across
a lot
from,
of places in Christiansburg.
across from Super
Across
Shoe,
from
like just
Corning.
past like Old Navy.
Okay,
and all
yeah, I
that.
got you, okay, gotcha,
At the very end of
Right
that
before
development.
Corning.
okay, gotcha.
so the regional commission is gonna issue debt, they're gonna issue bonds to pay for this building, that's their plan. They have a meeting on Thursday evening to approve that. And they have different options, they haven't decided which option to choose yet, which financing option, but there are some financing options that would require approval from the EDA, others won't. So there will be more to come at the next meeting. Should I add anything else?
I think you got it.
Okay,
So basically, they're gonna leave their rental space that's over at Fairlawn. We're gonna, Board of Supervisors gonna loan them money.
no, the board of supervisors is not loaning them money, they're gonna issue their own bonds.
Okay.
And then all of the jurisdictions that are members of the regional commission we all pay a per capita annual dues amount, we would participate in that.
Would fund the bond.
Yes, that's correct. There are really good reasons that I can go into about why the regional commission needs to do this. But all the EDA would need to do is be the vehicle like other,
Like the
Well,
COVID funds and stuff
yes,
like that.
that's right. To let the borrowing be tax exempt and all that good stuff.
Alright, so basically, the people on the hook for the bond would be the local jurisdiction that participate.
The regional commission is gonna issue the debt, so they're on the hook first,
Okay.
and we have these participants. Montgomery County has, the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution to be the single entity that is backing the debt, like a moral obligation kind of resolution backing. So the regional commission is first, if something happened, which nobody can foresee that anything would happen with that, but if something would happen with that, then it would go to Montgomery County Board of Supervisors, and then the Board of Supervisors would be responsible for.
And we're the creature of the board that is basically the conduit for
Right.
this thing.
And they're looking at a couple different financing options, and so, like I said, based on the financing option that's chosen, based on the best interest rates, it might not even have to come back to the.
And I imagine since they're the issuer, it'll be a tax exempt bond.
Is that right? I think it is tax exempt.
I don't know that they figured out all the details of the financing. I'm sure, I think they're still working on that.
The choices are that it would be a VRA, Virginia Resources Authority, pooled kind of bond issuance, or a bank issuance.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So at this point, they're still determining which direction they're gonna go with the Virginia Resource Authority or us.
But they're pretty much locked in. They're gonna relocate here. And they'll basically own the building at that point.
They haven't signed the contract to purchase the building yet, but
Okay.
that's the direction that they're heading in.
We're still doing due diligence.
So it's not, they haven't pulled the trigger yet.
That's right.
But my understanding is it's been offered under assessed value for sale. I think the new bank that bought it wants to clear the asset. So it's a good deal.
It is, there's a lot of value in the building. They've outgrown the space that they're currently in, and they're spread out in the current space. They've tried to make that work for as long as they can, and it really isn't working anymore. And they can also do some renovations to the building that will allow a large meeting room that the community can use, and they'll have outside access, so the county can have a meeting there after hours or other participants.
I know where it is, good location.
Good to have them in Montgomery County.
That's right.
As we've discussed in other EDA meetings, Montgomery County with Roanoke City has partnered for a Go Virginia grant to study the availability of clean rooms Montgomery County's responsibility thus far has just been to provide a support agreement, or I guess a letter of support, and then also sit on the committees. That's, so right now, so the Go Virginia grant has been awarded. It's for a total of $300,000. Grant request was $100 with a $200,000 cash match. The cash match was $80,000 from Redgate Fund for equipment purchases, and they're a private equity firm. And so basically, Fralin, they're going to build the first clean room in Riverside Drive number 4, and Tiny Cargo can use this. Other companies can use it as well. Basically, it's a clean manufacturing facility for biotechnology. So one company would use it, clean it, then the next company would use it. It's not an extremely efficient process because there's probably 2 weeks downtime in between runs for cleaning and setting up. But it does provide clean room, I guess, access where right now they can't manufacture it all without going to Research Triangle Park.
So that's the nearest clean room from here is Research Triangle Park?
For what they are doing, yes. I mean,
They were thinking of relocating down there. At least one of the companies was before the
Oh, yeah,
clean room in a box idea came up.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem efficient, but I guess versus traveling all the way down there, it has to be.
I think the idea might be start here and
Yeah.
then gather the funds to build a big clean room. Yeah.
once they can prove concept of manufacturing with the make sure. So they need to prove concept. Once they prove concept, then they can go into clinical trials. And right now, they're still in. They need to manufacture concept. So these are the steps, 1 through 4. So the Fralin Bio Research Institute in Roanoke is basically where the first one clean room is going to be set up, and Tiny Cargo Quinteros is definitely going to be using that. And then once they finish the upgrade to that clean room, they're looking for potential clean room locations for a second facility, Roanoke, Montgomery County, and see what their need is. You know, they'll be looking at the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center and various other places. Of course, our goal would be to have them maybe open a second clean room in the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center. But that's outside of the grant parameters other than a study of what could be done.
So the concept of this, just like Ellie said, is clean room in a box. So it's something that they hire out to people to do demonstration manufacturing, right?
They'll have their own people manufacturing and their own equipment, but the clean room will be essentially a temporary clean room. You can do it several ways, but the idea is that you might actually have a clean room that has vinyl curtains or temporary walls. And so
it's available for these companies, but other companies that
Right.
need to do that proof of concept, or I forget that stage after proof of concept.
proof of concept,
It's like
yeah, then they
pilot
go into
or
larger manufacturing trials for the Food and
And
Drug
if you do
Administration.
that, you can get funding to fund your greater trials. So this, from the research that's been done, is the missing link in the biotech space right now.
So apparently, a number of people need to rent a clean room just to demonstrate what they're capable of doing. And that's what the opportunity is here.
Yes, sir. And when we don't have a biotechnology manufacturing clean room, period. So there's several companies that they can get their proof of concept. You know, the manufacturing process doesn't take as long as necessarily the harvesting. So
And board docs problems, that's what's wrong with us every year, if you wondered what we were doing.
I know,
Word docs.
Okay.
Instead of printing out the agenda.
it's kicked me out several times this week. Broadband,
What do we have on the PowerPoint? Okay, so if you missed it last night, Appalachian Power and GigaBeam gave a presentation to our Board of Supervisors. This is Appalachian Power's PowerPoint actually. So they just gave them another overview of what each partner's role is in the broadband expansion project. You wanna run through this, unless there's anything else you wanna say about this?
Well, I guess Appalachian Power is investing $33 million of their own money in the project.
In our county alone.
Yes. And so
yeah, Appalachian Power is doing the underbill, the middle mile fiber. They have installed 16.8 of 28 miles so far, and have handed off 2 segments or 2 OLT fiber service areas to Gigabeam. There's 2 railroad permits that are outstanding, but they're getting close to that 180-day timeline on so they expect those any day now. Anything else you want to say on this one? Okay. The next area they're moving to, which they pushed this up, but they're going to move to this next month. They're on track to go to Reiner, which is a 24.9-mile loop. And then these are their scheduled loops following that. And they explained last night that don't read too much into the location that the loop is called, because that's just where they have their station.
Right, it's like their terminology of how they categorize portions of the area, because Blacksburg's not underserved. The town of Blacksburg isn't underserved for broadband, but they call it North Blacksburg Tri-Cities. So there were some questions about that.
that's the location of their substations. So they're just referring to substations as,
Right.
and their goal is to feed their substations fiber so they can monitor them.
Right, they're protecting the grid while they're also providing broadband fiber.
And-
So it says scheduled to start in January for a lot of these. What's been the current timeline? Like, when could we expect these projects to be completed?
They were asked that several times.
They explained a little bit of their process when they moved to a loop. It is that, okay, so if they move in there mid-January, they have several things they have to do that takes about 3 weeks before they even start building the fiber. And then when they start the build out, it's about 2 miles a week for AEP. And Gigabeam's goal is to have their fiber placed before AEP comes in, so they're not the holdup. But then after that, there has to be splicing and testing, and if there are any railroad crossings. So, can't really give a date, but that's the process.
And we're gonna get more information from them about the order that they're both planning to do things in, so we might have an idea of what the order is that different areas will come online. A representative from Gigabeam said several times that the contract is scheduled to be completed by March of 2026. So he said that many times. So that's when the whole entire project will be complete, but we don't know exactly the order or more specific dates than that.
This is Gigabeam's presentation. So OLTs 3 and 5 are active now, which is 245 passings in the Shawsville Ellison area. And their first phase of construction, which encompasses all of VADI 2021 and part of VADI 2022, is scheduled to be complete by the end of this calendar year, which is 1,933 passings. OLT 6 is the next zone that's supposed to be going live. AEP's been doing testing on that for a couple weeks, and that's 378 additional passings.
So they'll finish VADI 2021, which was just Shawsville, Elliston, Lafayette. 1,812 passings, I believe, was in the contract by the end of this year. And the rest of the county, 8,800 passings, will be completed by March 31st, 2026.
That's what they said. That's right.
That's what's in the contract.
That's right.
And
What's a passing?
residents that
Okay.
can be
Or it's
serviceable.
anybody who would connect. It's a
Yeah,
potential
business
customer.
serviceable.
Okay, so like a connection, okay.
They also they're currently building, it says at the top, an OLTs 1 through 27, so you'll see them like all throughout the county, and they said there's around 60 OLTs total for the whole thing.
This topic is currently the headline on Cardinal News. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Yeah.
There's a paragraph in there that says officials working on the bland Montgomery rollout say they are confident they will be finished well before the end of 2026.
March.
You're confident? Okay.
And they got Kevin Bird quoted in there as well.
So
Might be worth reading.
the ARPA funding has to be spent by December 31st, 2026. That's our drop dead date.
The only
And
downside
while
to
that article came out today,
yeah, it
they
came out.
wrote it before our meeting last night, because we knew that was coming at some point.
And it also makes no mention of our first project grant, it only talks about the 2022.
Yeah.
So it says we've got work going, but they don't specifically say their first project is almost done, which would have been a nice line to add, but you know.
Keep the Department of Housing and Community Development happy. They'll be here tomorrow. So we'll have a half day with them to tour them around and show the work. And this is just some of the GigaBeam's pricing. I would love to have the 135, one up, one down, 1 gig up, 1 gig down, actual works at 1 gig up, 1 gig down. So with light, you can get very good service with fiber optic cable. While Christiansburg and Blacksburg are both served by Shentel and Comcast, they don't have anywhere near the constant speeds.
We don't have anything like that.
No. Well, Shentel does in Blacksburg, but they won't put it in Christiansburg. You know, where they have fiber built, they won't build it in existing plant. So, anybody have any questions?
They had a big team, two big teams came out. Brian and Carly came to the meeting last night, and GigaBeam and AEP both had a lot of people at the meeting. They know it's important to our board, and they definitely showed up.
Be interested if we can track, once they get connections to the homes, how many homeowners are actually adopt
The
this.
take rate, we'll
This
want to know
seems-
that, and they'll
yeah.
want to know that
I'm
too.
working on another project with like subsidies to offset these costs, because this is a barrier in a lot of other places, so I'd be curious to see that.
Yes, we have to.
The one thing is the federal government has lapsed the low-cost broadband option, and that has not been stuck back into a bill, so it's costing $30 a month is what is being paid, and the federal government covering the rest. That really needs to be put back in place, in my opinion, because that does help a lot of people in our community and other communities. So as of right now, they can't tap into that fund. Hopefully they'll
After coverage is achieved, there are, any leftover funds will be put towards stuff like that, like looking into stuff and possible solutions, so.
That's us for today. Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Our next EDA meeting is tentatively scheduled for October 15th at 11:30 a.m. here. Are we still on for that? Okay. Do I adjourn the meeting?
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for your patience.
Stop the stream.
Stop the stream.